Well, good evening, bikers. I trust you are well, tucked up with a round of jam sandwiches and ready for part 14 of Dee and Sally's adventures. Before we start, let me just remind you to stay tuned at the end of the show for a promo for Dice Out Now Game, a brand new D&D 5th edition podcast. Join Cora, Dia, Richard and Jan as they navigate a homebrew world created by DM and friend of the show, Klappcher. I'm 3 episodes in and can't wait to see where it goes. Now, on with the show. Once again, Brits on Bikes fans, and welcome to episode 14 of our lovely little podcast. With me today, as always, is Kat.
Hello.
And in glorious surround sound, the mighty Eve.
Hi.
So, for those of you that don't know, Eve's got a new microphone, which she is very, very excited about.
Super excited.
All right then, so we better crack on and make a start because you kids have got a lot to do this evening. So would you like me to do just a very quick recap?
Yes, please.
Okay, so last week was a full-on investigation mode for our meddling kids and their talking dog. You started off by, you went to the, after, that's right, I remember now. It's right.
I was going to say, I literally just explained all of this.
All right. So after witnessing the murder of both the sheep and the farmhand at Drewdrop Farm, you went back to see Mrs. Thistledown, and she gave you a couple of leads in terms of what you could investigate next. You headed off to the Civic Hall to look at various bits and pieces, including land registry, and then you decided to look a little bit deeper into the Stratemeyer farm and the Stratemeyers, and you headed over to Marshhaven News, where you managed to persuade junior reporter Skip Baskerville to let you in and have a quick nosy round their archives. We left you at the end of last episode having discovered that Mrs. Stratemeyer is in fact the sister of Mr. Victor Wallace.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know, right? I am going to pick up straight from where we ended last episode. You are in the archives, having just discovered this information about Mrs. Stratemeyer. What would you like to do?
Wait, so, what's the plan, Sally? Because this is some pretty heavy stuff.
I don't know. I feel like I need an adult.
Good idea. We should get with, Thistle down there about this. See what they think. Because, yeah, I'm pretty sure we're about ready to act. Yeah. Oh, hey, Skip?
Yes?
Yeah, I think we're about done here. Yeah, here you go. Let's room I could use.
I'm sorry, beg your pardon?
A toilet?
Oh, I see. Yes, of course. He leads you out of the archives and gestures over at a door that's actually sort of just leading off the main offices in the front of the building.
Groovy. Thanks, bud. So, yeah, I go in there and, sit down in the stall and, pull out the mirror and... What? What?
Just the image of you sitting, I'm assuming that the lid is closed if there is a lid, and you just sat on a toilet about to talk into a mirror. It's funny.
No, like you do with your phone every day, right?
I don't actually do that.
You don't go into the just sit down and pull out your phone.
No, because when I was a child, I used to do that with my Game Boy, and I would stay in there for far too long, and so I know that I can't be trusted.
Yeah, I guess I've been there.
Pokemon, Tetris, Mario.
Yeah, been there. But yeah, D doesn't have fun things on their phone. So, so yeah, pull it out for a brief moment, frown at the reflection. There's like, alright, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And focuses on Thistledown.
Okay, you will need to spend a psychic point to do this.
Okay, I'm spending a psychic point to do this.
Okay, so that takes you down to 2. And can you make a brains roll for me, please?
Oh, please, no. Please. Come on. I got 4. I got another 4. I'm not lying. That's a 1. So that would be a 9.
Impressive.
Yeah.
You stare into the mirror, focusing on the image of Mrs. Thistledown in your mind. You stare harder and harder, and a grey mist begins to fill the mirror. Can you make another brains roll for me?
3.
As soon as the mist pulls forward, it just very quickly dissipates. You, given the nature of your first roll, you can conclude that you're going to need a little bit more training in order to use these mirrors.
So mean.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Sally, what are you doing at this point?
Hanging around awkwardly outside the door. Because Dee didn't tell me what you was... Sally thinks Dee's a he. So Dee didn't tell me what he was doing. So,
Okay.
That's right. This is the first episode that you actually know about that stuff. It's okay. You can use he and they and all that jazz. I've been trying to... I typically stick with they, but he is fine.
Well, until Sally learns about this...
Well, I mean, they don't even know what's going on with them quite yet. Like, they're having trouble just like...
Poor little Dee.
Poor squishy little brain. Dang old cracked eggs. The saddest thing. Yeah. Carry on.
I was waiting for you. What do you want to do? At the moment, you're just sat in a toilet.
Oh, well, I'm very frowning at this stupid mirror because all mirrors are stupid. And I'm sticking it back in my bag and I'm back out like, okay, we're going to like give them a call. We'll buy the house.
Okay.
I mean, we are right there by the Civic Hall. I guess we could just go back over there real quick and say, hey, Aaron, let's go.
Okay, so do you want to go to the Civic Hall?
I would like to ask Dee whether they washed their hands.
I didn't go to the bathroom. I tried to use the mirror.
Oh, you could have told me.
What? I didn't want to tell you right in front of suspicious old Skip there.
So, as you mentioned, Skip, he's already gone. He's sat at his desk going over some papers.
So, what are we doing?
No, we're gonna go get her. And then we're gonna tell her that it's time to get the book club together.
Oh, okay.
So, because emergency book club meeting.
Definitely.
Or, all the books die.
Okay, so you head out of the Marshhaven News offices and you make your way over to the Civic Hall. All right, what do you want to do?
We're going inside.
Okay, you go up to the front door and it's locked.
They're never going to stay open that late. I want to try using my magic mirror.
Oh. Yeah, okay, yeah, you do it.
I'm going to try.
You're a lot smarter.
You trying the mirror?
I'm going to... yes. I'm going to think very, very hard about... I don't like Erin. But never mind. I'm going to think very, very hard about Erin because I figure that might be easier than Miss Thistledown because Erin is herself magical. So do I
spend a psychic point and roll brains.
Yes. Brains. 9.
Again, the mists appear. Make another brains roll.
Brains. Oh my god, a 3. That's exactly what Dee got.
Wild.
Sadly, the...
Hang on. Do I have any adversity tokens?
How many you spent?
I
don't know because my thing doesn't record them anymore. Where's my character sheet thing? I have 2 of dirty tokens. I want to use them both. I want to make it into a 5.
Okay, so that's 14 altogether.
Yes.
So you stare intently at the mirror. The mists start to dissipate, and then all of a sudden you see the outline of a figure in the mirror.
Ooh.
Make one more brains roll for me.
Oh god, I'm going to screw this one off as well, aren't I? Brains. 11!
As you look into the mirror, the figure begins to sharpen, like brightness and contrast on a TV, and pretty soon you can see Erin.
Yay!
Holy crap, you did a magic!
She appears to be in an office in Miss Schiller mode, just looking over some papers.
Hello?
She looks up, aware of something, and she reaches into a drawer and pulls out a mirror.
Hello?
She looks into the mirror and she sees you.
Hi!
Can you make another brains roll for me?
Oh, good. 10!
This is so mean to 4D.
very mean.
This is going to be impossible
So
for me.
how it's going to work with the mirror is I might try and tweak the mechanics slightly, but you're going to have to make a roll for concentration. You're then going to have to make a roll for focus, so to bring the person into existence, as it were. And then there's going to be another roll for sharpening them up. And then the next roll will be that communication.
That is so many brains rolls
so
for somebody with a D4.
I think the second one should be great, personally.
However, as it goes on, it will get easier for you, because what we'll do is we'll start adding bonuses when you begin to start training up in your magic. There will be. I have been thinking about it, and there will be eventually. What we'll do is these. You'll get to a point where these roles are merged, that you can kind of simultaneously do all these things at once. So I'm making it hard for a reason, if you see what I mean.
Just being mean.
I let you kids get away with murder, so I think it's only fair.
Hey, we didn't murder anyone.
To believe that you let us get away with stuff is a really far stretch, because there's so many things I would love to get away with.
All right, so Erin looks directly at you, Sally, and she says,
Oh my, you've managed to do it, Sally. Clearly your trip to the realm must have rubbed off on you.
Am I here?
Yeah,
Can I hear this?
yes, you can.
Trip to where? Where'd you go?
I'll tell you later. We need an emergency book club meeting.
Oh, I see. Tearing me away from my terribly interesting work. Count me in. When and where?
D, help?
Let's just go this lounge.
Okay. Did you hear that?
I shall be along very, very shortly.
Great. Thank you.
And she fades out.
I did a thing.
Yeah, you did a thing. Holy crap. How did you do that?
I have no idea.
Well, okay.
Poor thing.
No.
Yeah, let's go. We gotta go save the world.
All right, so you head off to Mrs. Thistledown's. You arrive there in pretty quick time. Mrs. Thistledown lets you in and takes you into the living room that you've both been into before. She asks you to sit down and says to you, so, what's the big emergency?
Is Ellen here? I don't feel like explaining this all twice.
She's not at the moment, no.
Alright. Well, you know that farmhouse?
Drewdrop Farm?
You know, old Miss Stratemeyer?
Of course, yes.
Guess what her surname is?
Stratemeyer?
It means her maiden name.
She married a. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, words. You know what? Shut up.
Mrs. Thistledown lets out a small chuckle. Please continue, Dee.
Yeah, her maiden name. It's Wallace.
So you think she's
Victor Wallace's sister. You see, when we brought up the murder cloud to the cops, she gave us like a weird look. You know, like,
She did?
ooh, I heard that. Yeah. Yeah, no, I told you about that.
Right. Carry on.
So, yeah. So, I'm pretty sure she's the one behind us, or at least, like, what's the word? Facilitating.
That's a very fancy word for
I
D.
know, right? I feel good. I'm feeling smart right now.
This is an unexpected turnout for the books. Good work, children. I'm most impressed. Well done. As she begins to talk, Erin comes bursting through in full-on Erin mode.
What did I miss? What's been going on?
Stratemeyer is actually Wallace's sister.
Hang on a minute. Who's Stratemeyer?
Farm lady.
Oh, of course. Oh. She's with Victor Wallace.
Yeah. So, I'm thinking, now hear me out here. We go and, like, I don't know, kidnap her or something. Figure, like, have her stop the murder cloud.
Erin gives Mrs. Thistledown a furtive glance, and Mrs. Thistledown looks at the pair of you and she says, "This really is some excellent work, and I think maybe if you can follow my every instruction, that maybe we do a little bit of field work."
Wait, we're actually going, like, do a thing?
No, D. We are simply going to investigate a little bit. We're going to stay in the shadows and we are going to observe and we are going to see what we can find over at Drewdrop Farm.
Yeah, but, like, what if, well, we're just, like, observing, like, they finish it.
We need to know what we are dealing with here, D. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, like, I get it. It's just, like, you know, we're 2-0, and, like, you know, we're starting to get real close to that 8th inning, and I have no interest in that happening.
Well, listen, if we happen perchance upon the ritual, you are to stay well away. Allow Erin and myself to deal with it how we see fit. Do you understand?
Yeah, alright. It's as long as y'all actually going to, you know, do something.
Don't worry, we have plans in place. Sally, do you agree?
Yeah. I don't really have much choice not to.
Erin rubs her hands with glee and she says,
Oh, a field trip. How exciting. You can see how the grown-ups work, kids.
I am very interested to see that.
Yeah, same here.
Mrs. Thistledown turns to you and says, "I think we'll walk to the farm. Don't you, Erin?" Erin nods curtly and she makes her way to the door.
Can we take our bikes?
You can. Mrs. Thistledown, however, says you are to stay within eyesight. Do not go tearing off into the night.
Oh, you know, like, I'll just walk my bike.
Oh yeah, I want it
There's
to get
a
away
murder
from the
cloud
farm.
out there, and, like, if we have to get away, honestly,
It's an escape route.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the four of you head off in the direction of Drewdrop Farm. It takes you about half an hour walk. Can you make grit rolls for me, please?
Oh, I can try.
Sure.
2.
9. I mean, it's not bad.
Sally, can you take an adversity token, please? D,
I can.
Yeah.
it's started to grow a little bit dark now, and D, you're a little bit more accustomed to wandering the streets at night, so your eyes are slightly more attuned, and as are your ears, because you can see movement up ahead towards where the farm is, and you can also hear a lot of noise coming from animals.
There's something going on up there.
What, I don't...
Mrs. Thistledown says, D, Sally, stay behind us and keep to the side of the road. and she moves you. You were walking just straight in the middle of the road, but you've now moved along to one side to kind of stay in the shadows, kind of single file.
About how far away are we?
You're probably about 100 meters.
Okay, that's actually a decent spot to go ahead and just drop the bikes. Dee's dropping their bike and pulling out the emergency bat.
You're taking the bat with you?
Yeah. Well, no, I'm taking my whole bag with me,
okay.
but I've got the bat out.
That's fine. As you pull out the bat, Erin looks at you and rolls her eyes, but at the same time kind of smiles approvingly.
It's like that, pull your eyes at me.
Mrs. Thistledown takes point, and Erin brings up the rear with the two of you in between them as you walk single file down the road. As you get to the farm, you realise that there is something very, very wrong here. There are animals roaming about everywhere. The goats, the horses, a few sheep, chickens, the one solitary duck that's left. Yeah, they're just aimlessly wandering about. You notice that the farmhouse door is open. The top half of the stable door that leads to the kitchen is just swinging. There appears to be quite a bit of wind about as well. Can you make another grit roll for me, please?
Yeah, wind's good.
Yay.
That's 5.
That's another 2.
Sally, take an adversity token. D, you look up and you can see the weather vane up on the Stratemeyer farmhouse. It's spinning around, but there's something not right, but you can't quite figure out what it is.
Smack Thistledown in the back and point it out. Do that shove.
She glances up in the direction that you gesture. Ah, she says. Most unusual. Dee, tell me, which way is the wind blowing?
East?
Exactly. But the vane is spinning in what direction?
Oh, it's been west.
Yeah, the weather vane is spinning opposed to the actual wind direction.
That's weird.
That's very weird.
I think we may need to go and have a look in the farmhouse. Children, stay close to me. As she says this, Erin makes a sequence of complicated gestures with her hands, and you see the area surrounding the farm, the farmhouse, the barn, the fence. There seems to be almost like a kind of ripple around the edge.
What was that?
Oh, it was nothing. It was just a simple trick. It just makes sure that we shan't be interrupted and nobody else will try to look in on what's going on here.
Are we invisible?
No, we're not invisible. It doesn't really work like that. It's more of a glamour. It disguises the true appearance of the farmyard area.
Okay.
Make another grit roll for me.
See if I can do better than 2 this time.
19.
6.
Okay, you both notice it, no problem. As Erin explains the enchantment to you, you notice that she is on edge. She's a little bit more serious than she usually is.
You all good?
Mrs. Thistledown looks around and she says, "Okay, let's go." And she leads you through the stable doors of the farmhouse.
Cool.
Where would you like to go first?
Suppressing the urge to call out, hello.
Is this the stable door out front or the one into the kitchen?
It's the one into the kitchen.
Alright, anything going on in there? Anything look weird?
The place is in complete disarray. Cupboards are open, things have spilled out, plates are smashed on the floor, chairs are overturned, there's a solitary kettle on the Arga just whistling and boiling dry.
That's dangerous. I'm going to go turn that off.
Okay, it's a wood-powered Arga, so you can't really turn it off.
Oh, I can take the kettle off the fire. I don't know, I've never had an Arga, I've just had a gas cooker. You can turn those off.
Let's see, I guess we, take this room by room.
Mrs. Thistledown nods approvingly at you. Very well. Both of you have been here before. Do you know the layout at all?
Only the rooms
Not
we've been
really.
in.
We had been through like the front hall and the kitchen. That's been about it.
Which way is the hall, D?
I don't know how many doors are in this room, but I go through that door.
Okay, so you walk through the door into the hallway, and you find something the moment you step through. There, lying on the floor, is the hollow husk of Eli Stratemeyer.
Oh, damn.
This is serious.
Yeah, no kid, that's what I've been saying the entire time.
Mrs. Thistledown rushes forward to look at him. Is this the farmer?
Yeah, that's the farmer. It's, what's his face, Eli, right?
Remarkable. Was he always this emaciated?
That's what the tornado does.
No, look down his throat. He's empty. There's nothing in there.
Erin crouches over and looks at him.
This is most peculiar.
Mrs. Thistledown then says to you, "Children, I don't think I want you in the house. This could be dangerous. There may be somebody else in here. I think it best for you to wait outside. Maybe just go check on the animals, have a look in the barn."
Okay, but what if it's outside?
If you see anything, come straight back to us. Do you understand?
I really don't think we should split
If
up.
I see anything, I'm wanting hell YOLO and yo. But yeah, sure. No, that's a joke. I wouldn't do that.
Mrs. Thistledown looks at Erin and gestures to the stairs that are in the hallway, and she makes her way past the stairs as Erin creeps up. What are you going to do?
Yeah, we're just telling. I don't know that's in here. Are we actually heading outside?
I don't think we should. I think safety in numbers. I think we should stay inside.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, no, well, what do you alright?
Okay.
So you wait in the hall. You can hear Erin going room to room. Mrs. Thistledown returns first. There's just the living room down there. The place is in a right state, but there's no sign of anybody. Erin comes down and just shrugs as if to say nothing.
Well, the only one left would be Wallace's sister.
Yeah, Wen's still kicking up, so I'm pretty sure it's still here. So...
We may have to search further afield. Come along, children.
Okay.
You mean the place where you were gonna send us? Alone?
That was pretty smart thinking, guys.
Yeah,
We're gonna walk into
we're
certain
doing
death.
everything in our power to not do this adventure.
I'm an evil. Right, okay. So the four of you head out of the farmhouse and make your way over to the barn. Now, as we said last episode, it is quite a small barn and it's divided into various little pens for the different animals. But almost immediately you see something that you hadn't noticed before.
Dun dun dun.
In the center of the barn, just kind of moving slightly up and down, because of this strange wind that is about, is a trapdoor.
Ooh. Is it in the floor or in the ceiling?
It's in the floor.
Well, clearly that's where we should go.
I think we may have found our spot.
Okay. So are you opening the trapdoor?
Well, I mean, I can. Unless one of the adults that don't want us to participate wishes to open it instead.
All right. Erin steps forward and again makes a gesture with her hand, and the door just slowly creaks open. You're now peering down through the hatch into complete darkness.
I pull out my torch.
Yep, got that too.
Yeah, stupidly, the adults haven't bought torches.
Wow, they're just not prepared.
They're not prepared for these kind of adventures.
Jeez, some professional. It's just been too much time in the libraries, not enough time in the like we have been.
So you switch on your torches and shine them into the darkness, and Mrs. Thistledown immediately goes, "That's odd." What you see in front of you is old stone steps going down.
That is odd.
Oh, yes, that is odd. Because of a reason that I totally know.
See how the stones are cut. These are old. These are very, very old. We have a decision to make, children. Either you go home now, or you stay with us. Either way, I shan't think any more or any less of you.
I'm out here to save the world, so...
Sally desperately wants to go home but will not abandon Dee.
Aw.
I'm loyal.
So, let's go save the world.
Okay.
You need to be as quiet as possible, you understand? Stay between Erin and myself.
Not a problem.
You make your way down the stone steps.
I would like to hand my torch to whoever's in front.
Okay. You give your torch to Mrs. Thistledown. You start to walk down, and straight away there's something very unusual, in so much that the steps just keep going. Normally you'd just expect to fly into maybe like a basement or something like that, but these keep going, maybe for as long as 150, 200 meters.
Damn.
That's a lot of stairs.
It's not completely straight down. It's in an incline.
Well, yeah, but still.
Still a lot of stairs.
And again, the stones are... This is a crafted stair.
Does the ceiling come down with us, or is it just getting progressively taller?
It's... At the moment, it's just getting progressively higher. Okay, the walls themselves are made of stone, and eventually, as you finally get to the bottom of the stairs, you realise that you are in a long stone corridor. The torch that Mrs. Thistledown holds out at the front doesn't even catch the end of the corridor.
This place is big.
Yeah. Are we in a castle?
One thing that you should know as well is, at some point, as you've begun to walk down the steps, the ceiling has lowered again. The ceiling of the corridor is probably 3 feet above Dee's head. So it's probably about 8 foot high, because Dee's quite tall, isn't he?
I mean, not crazy tall. Probably like, I don't know, I guess tall for a teenager. Like 14-year-old, but I don't know what is tall for a 14-year-old. So
It's a high
I'm not
ceiling.
going to say
Let's
a
just leave it
number,
there.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so basically you can see ceiling. It's not cavernous. What would you like to do?
Anyways, like I guess well, I mean, there's not really many options but to keep going, unless we want to walk all the way back up the stairs. But that's so many stairs
tiring.
to just like not die.
So certain doom or going back upstairs. I like your logic.
Dee knows that both options are, at least
Painful.
one of those options is guaranteed doom.
Okay, so you begin to walk along the corridor. Dee, have you still got your torch out?
Yeah.
Yeah. As you're shining the torch, you kind of, as you do, get a bit bored and restless, and it's going along the sides of the corridor, and you notice something written on the wall.
Oh, we get a closer look at that.
Okay. Mrs. Thistledown turns around and says, Dee, what are you doing?
There's something written here.
Okay, so you shine your torch onto the wall, and it's not writing, it's a painting.
Whoa. What's it of?
I can tell you that, first of all, the painting itself is very crude. It's sort of in the style of the Bayer tapestry.
All right.
Yeah?
I only know what that is because my town has a a reproduction of it in its museum.
Amazing. And the US probably have like a roadside attraction of it made out of pasta or something like that.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Probably.
Mrs. Thistledown looks intently at it and she says, these are old. These are very, very old indeed. I would say possibly Middle Ages, early Middle Ages. But the figures themselves, this tells us this is an event. Something from a long time ago when these were painted. So as you look at them, the first thing you notice is you can see pictures of figures lying on the ground. Somebody has painted a very crude red sky above them. Judging from the way that they are prostrated on the ground, they look like they might be dead. There are numerous people knelt by these people lying on the ground. Make a grit roll for me, please.
7.
Okay, both will do it.
I outgritted D.
You notice that some of the figures kneeling down seem to be... They look like they're crying and kind of looking up at the sky. You would go so far to say that the people on the floor are sick and dying and dead.
Some kind of plague?
And because you both got over 5, you also notice one figure who stands out from these crowds of people. A person. You can't quite determine the gender because they're dressed in a robe. It's a long hooded robe that gives the wearer the appearance of looking like a bird, like a kind of beak on the top of the hood.
Right.
You can see roughly sketched lines that give the appearance of feathers on this robe. But he seems to be looking on at the scene.
Creepy.
It's weird.
Well, this is all a bit odd,
Erin pipes up.
but I can't see how this is going to be of any use to us. We need to press on.
Wish I had a camera phone and knew what a camera phone was.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty handy.
Or even just having a disposable camera to refer to it later.
Mrs. Thistledown gestures you onwards. Is there anything you would like to do as you move?
I mean, can really sketch that puppy out real quick.
Mrs. Thistledown turns round to you, Dee, because you've still got your torch in your hand, and she says, "Just keep an eye on the walls as we walk. Let me know if you see anything else."
Gotcha, I'm on it.
So you continue to walk. A little while later, no more than maybe 6 or 7 meters, you come across a second picture.
Oh. Yeah,
This one.
I got one. Another one.
What is it? What is it?
I don't know. Jimmy hasn't told me yet.
This time, the man in the robe appears to be the subject of the picture. He stands with his arms aloft, and there are 2 people flanking him either side. They appear to be holding what looks like stone jars. And in front of these 5 people, there appears to be a much larger crowd. Can you make some grit rolls for me? And D, you can add 2.
Okay. Oh, okay. That'll be a 17 total.
What did you get, Sally?
7.
Sally, you notice in one corner of the painted area, you can see what looks like an Irish wolfhound. It's got its head back and it appears to be howling at the sky. Surrounding the hound are 4 more people, and they look like they're trying to just calm this hound down. Above the scene, D, this is what you see, and you don't know why, there's just something not quite right about it. In this red sky that's been drawn is what looks like a tear in the clouds.
Yeah. Get a closer look at that.
Okay. It's barely noticeable. Make a brains roll for me.
Ugh. That's 2.
You know that it's part of the painting. It's not just an imperfection in the stone. It is definitely part of the painting, and something tells you that it is significant. However, you don't know why it's significant. Erin looks at the paintings as well, and she turns to Mrs. Thistledown and she says,
I've got a funny feeling about this.
What's your funny feeling?
Yeah. Care to share your feelings with the group?
Unfortunately, this is all a little bit before my time. But I think I need to pay another visit to my hometown and maybe hit the books, as you say.
Okay.
Mrs. Thistledown appears to be. She looks a little bit pale and says to you, "Let's move on, shall we?"
Yeah, let's. Yeah.
All right. So you continue to move on. Dee, I'm assuming you're still sweeping.
Yeah.
You come across another painting.
Oh boy.
It's an art gallery.
This one is very, very similar to the last one. You have your 5 figures in front of you. You have your crowd of people. However, this time there are 2 more people in the scene, and it looks to you like they're tied to stakes. The man in the robe appears to be slitting the throat of one of the people tied to the stakes. You can see a thin line of red that represents blood coming from the victim's neck.
Does this bring you back any memories?
Make a brains roll for me.
Hey, 4. Hey, 4. See, that's the good thing about D4s. It feels so good and they happen so often. Another one.
Wow.
Yes, 3. Okay, so 15.
You only needed 3 really to get this.
I'm sure. Fucking, I can't get them when I actually need them, and it would be super good.
But that said, you absolutely start to make the connection. This has started to seem very, very familiar to you, and because your brains roll so good, you once again cast your eyes up to where roughly that tear in the sky was, and it's still there, but you happen to notice just slightly below it is a small patch of smudged and scratched paint, as if there was something there, but somebody's tried to get rid of it.
Oh wait, that's weird.
What's weird?
Well, like there was a little crack in the sky here. Like the other painting had it, right? And this one's got it. But
How did you even see that?
I don't know. I'm good at like splatting stuff. Yeah, no. Look at that. It's like looked like there's something there.
It's all scratched.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
That is weird. I wonder what it was.
Mrs. Thistledown looks at you with intrigue. What are you thinking, Dee?
No, it looks like something was right. So the other one, the width was just the piano, right? And this one, the width is open, but they removed something from it. So something was coming out of it.
That seems logical.
It was coming out when they killed this person. So maybe killing the guy made the thing.
Quite possibly, I suppose.
Or something was coming out of the hole to stop them from doing that. I don't know. I'm not very good at this stuff.
As Dee is pondering, and I'll allow it because, you did get a good brains roll. As Dee's pondering, Sally, you notice Erin, who kind of is a bit taken aback by Dee's train of thought and almost looks impressed.
Ooh.
Of course, Dee didn't know this.
What I want to know is where's Nettles, lazy.
That is a very good point. I would like to close my eyes and scream for Nettles.
That.
Yeah, Nettles isn't with you tonight.
Can I not psychically call him?
We can't
Probably
retcon
a
it.
bad idea, because this seems like the kind of situation where it'd be a good idea to have him around. To, I don't know, maybe heal us when we inevitably eat shit.
Yeah, that might be useful.
What do you want to do, guys?
Guess we gotta keep pressing on.
Okay. So you continue to move on, and once again you come across another picture. This time you see the same scene again. However, the crowd are now engulfed in fire. The robed figure and his flankies are looking on. Can you both make grit rolls for me?
Yeah, I'm also gonna look straight up to where that rift thing was.
8.
6.
Okay, so you guys are actively looking for it, that strange anomaly, and you can see, and it doesn't take you very long at all to notice that it is just at the top of where the flames are, okay, before hitting the flames. Again, it's been scratched out. You can't see what this thing is at all, but you do see the figures in the fire clearly sort of writhing in agony. Sally, you got an 8. Dee, you got a
6.
Sally, you also happen to notice at the feet of the 4 people flanking the robed figure so it looks like the remnants of what could possibly be the jars that they were holding, just shattered into pieces on the floor.
How weird.
If you ask me,
Erin pipes up.
I think we may be looking at some very, very old and very, very dark magic.
I mean, I can't comment too much on that, but yeah, definitely seems like it might be some real evil junk. Definitely evil book club stuff.
I don't know who they are, but we have our work cut out, I think, children.
How far have we been walking now?
Okay, the distance between the paintings isn't very far at all.
Okay. So it is an art gallery.
So you haven't walked miles and miles.
That's good. Just trying to get a sense of time.
No worries. So you press on, and eventually you travel about the same distance again as you have for the last few paintings, and you come to a stop, and you begin to search again with your light.
Yeah.
You found where a painting should be. However, this time there is no scene at all. The stone has been scratched and hacked away, and aside from a few random lines indicating that a painting was once here, there is nothing. It has been obliterated.
Question. Do these scratch marks and whatnot, do they look recent? Like, does it look like it was recently scrubbed away, or...
Make a brains roll for me.
Ugh. 2.
You don't know. You're not sure, because it's not just scratches, it's like hunks of stone taken out of it as well.
Okay. I mean, if I don't know. Shrug. Keep going.
Can we tell what made the scratches?
Make a brains roll for me.
Like, does it look like it was done with like a chisel or a knife? I got a 12. I got an 8 out of 12, not a 12.
You take a closer look, and the scratches appear to be quite uneven, quite random, of different depths. It looks like whatever did it, and it's difficult to say, it was a bit of a hack job rather than sort of very precise cuts and scratches through it. Somebody's just kind of attacked this wall.
In a frenzy. Oh, I might buy this.
Yeah, I mean, we can just press on.
You pressing on? Okay.
Can we still not see the end of the tunnel?
Not quite yet, but
Yikes.
you do walk a little further. You don't come across any more paintings as you move, and eventually you begin to see some light in the distance. It looks like a kind of archway.
Hey, kill the flashlights. D shuts off his flashlight.
Mrs. Thistledown says, Erin, up with me. Children, stay behind.
D's got the bat at the ready.
Okay, so you start to slowly walk forward. You're about 10 meters away now from this doorway, and you can hear a voice, a low, rasping female voice. The adults start to move forward towards the light, and you guys are following just behind.
Can I sneak?
Can you sneak?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all... In fact, can you make flight rolls for me? And I'll roll for Erin and...
Hey, that'll be a 10. Actually, an 11. I forgot I had +1 to flight.
Okay, and you got a 9, Sally?
Yeah.
All right, lovely. You edge your way forward, and you're pretty quiet at doing this as well. The pair of you are clearly on edge, and probably a little bit scared at this point. This is
Very scared.
this is the real deal now. You're in full-on Magic Book Club adventures.
It's very, very scary, and I wish I was in bed.
Mrs. Thistledown is the first to reach the doorway, and she stands just to the left of it, up against the wall. Erin does the same next to her. Do you guys follow suit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mrs. Thistledown reaches inside of the skirt that she's wearing, and you're not actually quite sure where she produced it from, but she has a very small pistol. And Erin kind of takes a step back and looks at Mrs. Thistledown and looks at the pair of you. And Mrs. Thistledown, trying to keep things as light as they can in such a situation, says, "Well, girls have always got to be prepared." Mrs. Thistledown...
It's okay, D's packing too.
You've got your bat in hand, haven't you?
I got the bat, and then I also got the gun.
Okay.
Not in hand, but it's available.
Okay, but you haven't got any ammunition, have you?
No, yeah, we never found any, so probably for the best. Yes. Dee's still nervous about pulling the handgun out in front of Sally.
Okay, so Mrs. Thistledown crouches down to the floor and sort of holds onto the side of the entranceway and just peers in.
Are we doing that Scooby-Doo thing where we all look around the corner like us? Yeah, Sally's up on top.
Probably not.
Not quite, but almost. So the four of you are peering in, and as luck would have it, you can see a figure standing in front of what looks like a table, but they have their back to you.
Do they have a classic farm wife silhouette?
Make I suppose that's a grit roll, isn't it, really?
Hey, 11.
Based on your prior knowledge of Mrs. Stratemeyer, you would say that this is almost certainly her. She stands in front of this table and she's whispering something in this low, raspy voice. Mrs. Thistledown turns around to you and says, I believe it's Latin.
The most magical language.
The most magical of all the languages. You also see that she's reading from a large book, and on the table are an assortment of glass jars, some of them big, some of them small. Make another grit roll for me, just to see if you can kind of notice anything about these jars.
3.
Okay, D, take an adversity token. Sally,
I got 11.
looking a little bit closer, you can make out what looks like in all of these jars, in a variety of quantities, is like a pink swirling mist. There is, however, one other thing that is something of an elephant in the room. Behind this figure, so literally in front of you, on the floor is an inverted 7-pointed star, and floating 4 feet above the ground is the figure of a woman. She strikes you as very beautiful. She is nude, like completely sans clothes, but she doesn't appear to be fully tangible. She flickers slightly. Make brains rolls for me.
Yay.
And you can add 3 to it.
Oh. Good. That's a 4 total.
Good, because I only rolled a 3. That's a 6.
Good grief.
So you got 6, and D, you got a
4.
Yeah, you instantly make the connection. The way that this figure flickers is very, for you, D, is very, very similar to some of the future experiences that you had last Saturday whilst on your journey. And Sally, it's very, very similar to the vision that Ngumba gave to you when you were in the Fey Realm.
So it's like she's in that flickery kind of way that we were.
Yeah, she it gives the appearance of that she's some kind of apparition, and she looks like, well, she appears to be bound by some kind of invisible force, which you can only assume is the star that is on the floor, the inverted star on the floor.
Okay, so what's the plan?
Erin leans in and whispers over to you.
The creature is bound.
What creature? Like, what is it?
As you look up, you notice that the woman is struggling. She's really kind of fighting against whatever it is that contains her, and she begins to phase in and out as if she's appearing and disappearing, and all of a sudden you see her turn into a cloud, and instantly
she's the murder cloud.
Turn back into the woman again.
This is not okay.
No, it's not okay. So what we do? Do we attack?
Dee, what do you mean by a murder cloud?
The tornado that took everyone's guts out. I figured it out. I know what's happening here.
Sorry?
I said I know what's happening.
Okay.
I know what's happening. I swear, kid, do you have an epiphany?
Make a brains roll. This is one of those rolls that needs to count.
3.
Go on, as Eve then, tell me, what do you think's going on here?
It's whenever it's going and pulling out their guts, that's not what it's pulling out. It doesn't care about their guts. It is pulling out their soul.
You're close.
And jamming it into those jars, that's what the pink mist is.
You're very, very close.
Or like their life essence or something. It's something like that. It's taking like their fundamental like life and jamming it into the jars.
Okay, we can work around this.
The second I was like, yeah, no, it's the thing that pulled out the guts. It's just like, boom, got it.
Sally, make a brains... No, in fact, D, I'll give you this because obviously you've been getting all excited about it. So, yeah, D, you make the brains roll.
2. I'm tired of being dumb.
Hang on. I have 3 adversity tokens, so add 6 to that.
Oh, shit. There'll be an 8.
That will be enough.
Yay, thank you.
D, you suddenly recall the piece of parchment that Mrs. Thistledown gave to you at the beginning of the week.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. It's thing with, like, the breath of life, right?
Breath of struggle, breath of strife, dying breath gives chaos life.
Oh. Yeah, dude's just like, like, yeah, no thing to suck the guts out and all that, and the boom, it's the dying breath that's in the jaws.
That's a lot of dying breath.
Yeah, no, you guys killing the crap out of everyone. We have to stop that thing right now. Those, and the paintings, they had broken jaws at their feet, and then there was chaos and fire and death everywhere. So we have to stop that right now. That's how we save the world. We stop her, we get those jaws, and we do not let them break.
D, I want you to make a grit roll for your self-control. If you roll low now,
Be a 12.
you manage to keep your composure and don't go charging into the room wielding a bat.
It's very tempting.
Sally, can you make a grit roll for me?
6.
You are acutely aware, now that you are watching this woman floating above this inverted star, fighting against this invisible force, that she isn't just fighting, she looks scared, she looks fearful and terrified.
Oh no. We have to help her.
We have to do this now. We have to stop it.
Mrs. Thistledown says, just give me a moment, I'm thinking. Erin chimes in.
I'm with the children. We have to do something, and we have to do something soon.
What's the floor? Like,
Shoot her.
is it a stone floor?
It's a stone floor, yeah. As Erin begins to speak, the woman starts to hold up jars and she starts to throw them to the ground.
He's running in. We have to. She can't unbreak the jars.
Okay, can you make a flight roll for me, please, D?
That'll be a 12 total.
Okay, D, I would like you to narrate this for me. What are you doing?
I feel like it would be best if I hit her with the bat, but at the same time, I think Dee's just going full on trying to, like,
Tackle her?
spear tackle her.
Okay, so you've got the bat in hand, but you'd rather tackle her.
Yeah, just try to ground her.
Can you make a fight roll for me?
D10. Come on, don't be mean to me, dice. That would be a 6, and I'm going to add 2 to it.
All right, I'm going to roll as well. Okay, so tell me what happens.
I'm assuming I succeeded.
You succeeded, yeah. She made a low roll, so
Pretty much just like rush in, like just as I'm getting to her, drop the bat, full on like bear hug, shoulder into the gut, arms around like the back of the thighs, and just lifting and pushing her straight to the ground.
Okay, so just for my own clarity, where exactly are you aiming? Because she's facing away from you at the moment.
Okay, in that case, small of her back.
Small of her back. Can you make a strength? Is it strength? No.
It's brawn.
Brawn roll for me, please. Just to see how hard you hit her.
Oh, 8 total.
So you go crashing into the small of her back. As you do, she lets out a cry and lurches forward, the table in front of her knocking over and the jars just smashing across the ground.
Oh no.
Oh, no.
She lets out a wail and manages to roll over onto her back. And you look at her, and she has shards of glass in her face from the broken jars.
Ouch.
And she just lies there and looks at you and just laughs maniacally. What do you want to do? It's almost like a taunt. She spits at you, a globule of blood and spittle just landing on your chest.
You know what? Fuck it. Things are very serious right now. D draws her gun and just like right into the center of the chest, just pressing it down and wait, you're gonna stop this stuff right now.
She just keeps laughing, and you hear her. She says, "It can't be stopped, and it won't be stopped. We shall see him rise. We shall see him rise." And she lets out an evil cackle.
I saw it happen. You don't see nothing. You get eaten with the rest of us, you dumbass.
Sally, is there anything you would like to do?
By the way, Dee just pulled out a gun.
Yeah, what? I want to look at the woman in the woman thing that's suspended above the floor.
Okay.
What's happening to her?
She's just struggling, and she's looking at you imploringly. Erin has stepped to your side as well, and she's like,
I don't know. There must be something we can do, but I don't know what.
Can we break the star?
It's possible, yes. The book. Have a look at the book.
She points at the book that Mrs. Stratemeyer was reading from, and it's just spilt onto the floor along with all the jars.
Okay. Can I read the book? I presumably don't know Latin.
No, you don't. I mean, you might know a few words here and there from church, or the odd bit of science, but your Latin isn't sufficient enough to read this book.
Yeah.
Erin begins to thumb through the book that you've given her, and is just frantically finding anything that might help this figure in the star.
I want to touch the star on the floor. Can I prod it?
You can, but it has no effect.
Okay. Can I try and rub it off?
You can try.
Yeah.
Make a brawn roll for me to kind of scrub it off.
3.
You begin rubbing, and where you rub, it smudges, but it doesn't seem to be having any effect.
Rubbish.
Dee, let me just check. So you are currently stood over the laughing body of...
Yeah, more like a...
Mrs. Stratemeyer.
Sitting on her, pretty much.
You're sitting on her.
Yeah.
Make a grit roll for me.
9.
So as you hold the gun to Stratemeyer's chest, you are conscious of somebody coming towards you, and you quickly glance over and you see Mrs. Thistledown striding towards Mrs. Stratemeyer. Without even a glance at you, she walks up to Mrs. Stratemeyer, points the gun at her forehead, and blows her brains out. Sally, you hear this gunshot go off.
Yeah.
And the moment it does, the figure collapses to the ground.
Is the figure tangible?
Not in a human way, no, but they're certainly more solid than what they were. They're not flickering quite so much. There appears to be a kind of aura around them, like a bright haze.
Interesting. I want to ask her if she's the air nymph.
Go on then.
Well, I assumed I had by saying that. Are you the air nymph?
She looks up at you with wide, frightened eyes, and as you speak to her, she reaches out a hand and touches your cheek. She gulps and she nods. Make a brains roll for me.
Brains. 5.
You can see a look of shame on her face, and she leans forward and she kisses the tip of your nose.
Aww.
And all of a sudden, she starts to rotate and spin around. And eventually she's turned into a cloud.
I'm backing the hell away.
She shoots up into the air and straight through the ceiling. And there's just like vapor trails left, but she has gone.
Dee did not see any of that.
No, Dee did not.
Oh,
She looks over at you, Dee, and she says, I need that gun and I need it now.
yeah, Dee's just staring at it, not moving.
Dee, I'm only going to ask you one more time. Give me the gun.
My name is Checha. I'll be your DM for tonight.
Hi, I'm Cara. I'm playing Deck Club.
Hi, I'm Richard. I am playing Dawn.
My name's Dia. I play Kasni.
My name is Jan and I'm playing Darren.
Declan's just sitting there watching all of this happen.
You'd have to be blind not to notice him, and even then you'd probably hear him.
He's dirty in a sexy way.
He is wearing something akin to a toga at the moment.
No, I'm very unusual.
I swipe the electrum,
Of course,
as I do.
as you do.
Have you ever seen bacon before?
Kasni just raises an eyebrow.
How many children did I just orphan?
Verve and charm.
Those weren't the words I was going to use.
I spend a long time in the mountains.
What is this? Some kind of small city?
You guys are rolling so poorly.
He's pointedly not looking at Dawn, but he kind of is.
Do they have that in your backward city?
I grab it, sweep a bow, and kiss it.
Hello, generic super name number 4.
It's at times like these that I'm glad I no longer have the ability to play the flute.
I sort of look at what I'm wearing, wonder if I can give it up or not.
This date is not going well.
The fan fiction writes itself. Tomorrow's the wedding. I hope you're all excited. Dice out. Now. Game!